Coming up on the Empowered Woman podcast.
When you get this roadmap mastered, you now can sit down and be like, I've done everything proactive as a parent, which is the key to success. And now when you see pushback, you know why. You know what's missing. You know where you need to focus. And now your kids feel seen, heard, and understood. It's so important as a parent to know the why behind behavior.
Welcome to the Empowered Woman podcast, the #1 show on visibility strategies for women entrepreneurs. If you want to get empowered to be seen, stand out on social media, stages, TV, and more to make an impact with your voice and business, you're in the right place. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Marcia Spurk, and I'm your host, professional singer and visibility strategist. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode. Are you feeling stretched thin, constantly behind, or guilty no matter how you choose to spend your time? Amy Pierre Russo can help. She's a certified work-life harmony coach dedicated to helping entrepreneurial moms find ease, flow, and fulfillment while reducing stress, guilt, and burnout. Book your free discovery call today and start building a life that works for you. The link is in the show notes. Hi, Tia. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat.
Oh, I am so excited. We have a lot to cover. Why don't you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Tia Slightham. I am a mom, first and foremost, to two boys who are 14 and 16. They actually, the day that we're filming, started their first day back to school. So my baby's in high school, which I cannot believe. I don't know where the time went. I'm a parenting coach. I've worked with thousands of parents from around the world inside our coaching program, the Parenting with Purpose method. And I'm just super excited about reaching more parents, helping more parents. I know it feels really hard and it can be so much easier with the right skills. And I'm excited to chat with you about that today.
Yes, me too. Well, first things first, because we're going to dive into all kinds of things. I was just sharing with you, I have triplets and mine started school a couple weeks ago. So we'll talk about it. How did you get into this? How did all of this come about in the development of the business?
Yeah. So, what's interesting is I feel like some people are like, I'm going to do this when I grow up and this is what I'm going to do. And that didn't happen for me. I started my career as a kindergarten teacher and I have my master's in early childhood education. I've always loved kids. I wanted to be a mom more than anything. Used to take my Cabbage Patch doll to the movie theater and change the diaper midway, drove my mom crazy, but needed to be changed. I was very serious about my job. And so over time with my kindergarten students, I realized that they're so capable. Kids can do so much. And we often as parents or educators don't have the skills to help open those doors for kids because we're battling so much with behaviors. And that's really just the surface. And we've got to get below that. Once I had my own kids, I saw the same things. I was enjoying their bedtime. I was enjoying having toddlers. It wasn't the terrible twos or the three-nagers. It was amazing. And I wondered why all the moms in the music classes and the programs I went to were complaining. And I, just like my kindergarten students, I knew it wasn't the kids. It was something that the adults were doing that could be shifted. And I became super passionate about helping parents create the life they want, the relationship they want with their kids, and became certified in positive discipline. And so we've been working with kids and families now over 20 years. Like I said, we've helped thousands of parents in our program from the age of 1 to 22. Everything's fixable if you have the right guidance. And if you're struggling right now, there's an easier way.
Oh, I love that journey. And you practically described my daughter when you were talking about Cabbage Patch and taking your job very seriously, because that's what she does with her baby. She didn't care much about Barbies. In fact, we just got rid of all her Barbie stuff and gave it to her younger cousin because she's all about the babies. So that's so interesting.
I feel her. I wanted a real baby. I wanted to adopt a baby. I wanted to do whatever I could when I was probably 9 years old. I mean, I was dressing up a sack of flour and carrying it around. I was desperate to be that mom.
Oh, that is so awesome. Well, tell us about like the most common behaviors or struggles that parents have and what your recommendations are. Let's start there. And then I do want to talk about my kids too.
Yeah, of course. Your kids or somebody else's kids. The funny thing is, I'd say 95% of your challenges overlap with every listener's challenge and vice versa.
Okay.
That's why we coach in a group format, because you'll learn so much. So everybody who's listening is going to take away so much, even if we're talking about your kids. When I think about the biggest challenges that people come to, and if you're listening right now, you're probably going to be shaking your head feeling like, yes, 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 is most of us get stuck using our intuition to parent. And we forget that, or we don't know that parenting is actually a learned skill. And if we don't learn the skills, we're scrambling. So if we think about trying to do our taxes without knowing how to complete your taxes, you're guessing and it's so frustrating and things are messing up and it's going haywire and you're really frustrated by that. Parenting is the exact same way, but most of us have our kids, adopt our kids, have a surrogate. All of a sudden we've got a baby and we're just flying by the seat of our pants, hoping that things run smoothly. And when it doesn't, we're triggered by things from our own childhood, the way we were raised, our own challenges, and it comes out, against our kids, which is not what any parent is really wanting to do. And so we have to just first tell ourselves, have I learned the skills yet? And if the answer is no, give yourself grace. It's not your fault. Now we just want to start learning the skills moving forward. And so the parents who come to us using that intuition, they're really struggling with using tactics like yelling, reminders, empty threats. If you don't do this, I'm going to take this away. If you don't, knock that off, you're going to not go to the birthday party. We're using bribery, rewards. We're using all of these tactics that most likely we were raised with, but they're the things that just come out when we're desperate to get our kids to listen and cooperate. And it usually backfires. It might work in the moment. It might stop the behavior for a second, like a Band-Aid on a wound, but then that Band-Aid loses its stick and the same behaviors happen over and over. So seeing parents struggle in this cycle of punishment, really, we can talk about the difference between punishment and discipline, but struggling in that punishment cycle is the main reason and the number one reason why parents are stuck with kids who don't listen, they backtalk, they push back because of the way that we're parenting. We can shift that, we can shift their behavior.
I love that. And I would love for you to talk about the differences between punishment and discipline, because that's what I was going to ask when you mentioned positive parenting is, okay, well, does that mean I'm going to be submissive to my child and just let them do whatever they want and have free reign? Because I think some people have that image. So can you tell us a little bit more about that difference and also what actually positive parenting is?
Yeah, it's this vague thing of gentle parenting and positive parenting, and us feeling like we're trying gentle parenting. Parents tell me this all the time. Tia, we've tried gentle parenting and it just doesn't work. Well, exactly, because you've tried a little piece of that puzzle here and a little piece of that puzzle here because you've picked up a tip or trick off Instagram or a video off YouTube, or you've read a book or listened to a podcast. Little tips and tricks won't work. You need the whole puzzle. It's the only way to really get to that end game, that result where your kids are listening the first time. And so if we think about how we parent and the effect it has on our kids, I'll kind of use 3 different parenting styles that you can really envision. Most likely, many of you are going to be either one or a combination. But number 1 is really that overpowering tiger parent. You are that parent who's authoritarian, who your kids need to listen because you said so. You're the boss. They live under your roof. You pay for things. They need to respect you because they are the child and you are the parent. So that overpowering tiger will use a lot of those punishment tactics that we talked about, the yelling and the timeouts and forcing to take things away, all of that kind of forceful behavior. The second parenting style is that wet doormat. So this is that parent that's letting their kids walk all over them. You're trying desperately to set boundaries. You want to be kind. You want to be respectful. You want to be gentle, but you don't really know how to hold that boundary and follow through with that boundary. So you end up giving in multiple chances, giving them second chances, third chances, fourth chances, finally giving in because they're crying and you don't want to deal with it and it's too loud and you're too tired. And now the behaviors are cycling. So most of us are either an overpowering tiger, or maybe we have a partner who's an overpowering tiger and we are the wet doormat, or we're a combo. We're a wet doormat until we can't take it anymore, and then we yell and we explode, and we're that overpowering tiger. The challenge is both of those tactics create the same things. Kids that have more anxiety, that push back, that don't listen, that don't know what the boundaries are. A little word to the wise, kids are born to push boundaries until boundaries are found. It is a core job. They have to complete it. So if you are saying to yourself right now, shoot, I give in, I yell, I overpower, I give them multiple chances, your kids are doing an A+ job pushing you until the cows come home. We need to help you do an A+ job of holding your boundaries, which is what we teach you when you become that third parenting style, which is a positive disciplined parent. So yes, respect. Yes, we're gentle in that we're not yelling, we're not screaming, our kids are not fearful of us, but we are setting boundaries. We are holding boundaries consistently. There are consequences. Our kids do need to learn that their actions have consequences, but it needs to be done in a way where we use discipline and not punishment. And that's where we might want to kind of discuss the difference of those two parenting tactics.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you so much for explaining that. And I think lots of people resonate, and especially with like the mix. I think I see myself in that one. Now, we were talking about back to school. You said your kids are back to school. So here's where my question comes in, because now, so all three of mine have just started fourth grade. And even with third grade, we started noticing that things are getting a little bit more serious. They need to be a little more responsible. The teacher is not just letting things slide as much as they did before. And two of mine are pretty, I would say, self-responsible in the sense of they don't want to make mistakes, or they don't want to, forget assignments and have bad grades, whereas the other one doesn't seem to care as much. So it's a little bit different in terms of I need to stay on top of it and support him. What are some of your tips in terms of that, like finding what stimulates and really motivates, I guess, a child if they're not already self-motivated when it comes to school and doing things?
Mm-hmm. That's going to be an ongoing conversation as they grow into teens, helping them learn to be self-motivated. And I actually like that you're one that you feel like you're struggling with a bit isn't so worried about making a mistake and isn't so worried about it. There's a lot of positives in knowing that it's okay if I make a mistake and I don't have to be perfect. So even though sometimes we see things as a negative, there's a lot of positives intertwined in there as well. What I would ask you and any parent who's resonating with this kind of conversation is to ask yourself, how much of your child's schoolwork, success, homework are you putting on yourself? How much are you showing up saying, you need to do this, you need to get this done. If you don't get this done, you're not going to go outside. If you don't get this done, you're not doing this. If we are engaging in a power struggle with our kids over homework, we've already lost the battle, because you are making their homework your problem and not their problem. So what's happening is we're weakening our parent-child connection because we're creating this negative feeling and this negative environment about homework. So we're actually not encouraging schoolwork to be a fun, positive thing. We're decreasing their trust in us that we're there to support them because it feels like we're overpowering them, and we're not creating self-motivation. So what we want to do is set up some systems so that we can create an environment where our kids have a set time to work on their homework, but we need to set boundaries around how long. So if I ask you right now, when it's time to be motivated and do homework, do you feel like you get stuck having to remind, is your homework done? Have you done it? Did you complete it? Did you rush? What kind of goes on in that conversation with you and your child, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, of course. So there had been moments where he wouldn't even say that there was anything to be done unless I asked. And then it just wouldn't get done. And then I would find out later on when I would check the grades, every week and be like, what happened? Why didn't you tell me? And the papers were just in his bag. And before, the teacher used to be like, hey, he didn't turn this in. And now as things get a little bit more serious, the teacher is not informing me and he's not informing me, and now if he does tell me, or if I ask him and if he starts working on it, it's like I need to be there. As soon as I walk away, he's doing something else. He's not completing it. I have to be sitting there, or somebody needs to be there. Otherwise, he's just not going to do it. That's what's happening. Hey, let me ask you a question. Would you like to be my next guest on the Empowered Woman podcast? Do you have a story you'd like to share? Want more visibility for your business on a show ranked in the top 0.5% in the world? Well, then head on over to martasburke.com/podcast guest for more information.
And do you think he's asking you to sit there because he doesn't know how to do it? Or do you think he's looking for some control over the situation?
I think it's just the control. He knows exactly what needs to be done. It's like, I guess it's just the presence. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like what is going to help you, just get this done on your own. If it's not a matter of, I don't know how to do it, it's clearly just
Yeah.
the motivation, I don't know, or the attention.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is the perfect segue. This is great. Okay, so you just said, I don't know. Is it this? Is it that? Is it attention? Does he need me there? Is it presence? You're having to throw spaghetti at the wall
Right.
to figure out how to solve this scenario because you don't know something super key and important. Why is he pushing back on it? Why won't he just do his homework? Why does it need to be a battle? If we don't know the why behind our kids' behavior, and there is a why to every behavior, there's a purpose and reason to why they're doing what they're doing. If we don't know why, we don't know how to support them because we're guessing why. It could be attention. It could be a lack of power. It could be that I've been using punishments. It could be that I'm in a power struggle. We're guessing. And that's why each piece of the puzzle is so critical. And that's what we do inside our coaching program is make sure each piece is given to each parent, because if your child is lacking in attention, and one of the things I'm going to gift all of your listeners today is a free download of a tool to help fill those attention buckets in 10 minutes a day. I know parents are busy and it only takes 10 minutes. But if we're not doing these things, then they're going to look for that attention in negative ways. So we have to check all the boxes. And I've created a roadmap, which is known as the behavior needs roadmap. It's one of our critical tools that parents master so that you can ensure all of the physical needs of sleep, nutrition, security, transitions are met. All the emotional needs of power and attention are met. And all of your parenting skills and their goals are met. So you're not punishing. So you're only disciplining so they can stop pushing boundaries because you know how to set them. When you get this roadmap mastered, you now can sit down and be like, I've done everything proactive as a parent, which is the key to success. And now when you see pushback, you know why. You know what's missing. You know where you need to focus. And now your kids feel seen, heard, and understood. It's so important as a parent to know the why behind behavior. So let's just go with the fact that he's had all his attention needs met. Everything's checked off. Everything's organized. And the only thing is that your boundaries around his homework are really gray. Sometimes you sit down, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you say you'll help him, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're mad about him asking for help, sometimes you're calm and patient. If you're gray in your boundaries, he's going to push and push and push, and he's going to keep saying, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. There's no end game. So what I want you to think about is how can we set what we call 3 C's boundaries: concrete, clear, and consistent. And so what that means is you understanding what are your expectations on homework. It happens every day after school. Once their snack is completed, homework time is from 4 to 4:30. I know that 30 minutes is more than enough time for my 9-year-old to get things done. So we set a timer. Timer is set for 30 minutes. When the timer goes off, homework time is done and we move on. It's either completed or it's not completed. That's up to you now to let the teacher know. I would be in conversation with the teacher, letting them know we're building some responsibility with our kids. So let's check in daily and see how things are going between you and the teacher. Always good to be on your teacher's team because as they grow, teachers are not coming to you. They're coming to the student only. And if you're having an issue, I always say team up with the teacher and let's get this resolved. Because what happens is you get into a power struggle during that homework time. And he's rambling, he's getting up and down, he's fooling around, he's not doing what needs to be done. You're getting frustrated, you're getting mad, it's becoming an issue. We're still not solving the homework. Right. So if you can step back and remove yourself and say, hey, look, your homework's your problem. It's your issue. If you have a question, I'm here to help. But if you don't get it done, it's your choice and it's your job to tell the teacher that it's not done. It's not my job. So from now on, homework times from 4 to 4:30, everybody sits down, timer is set. When the timer is done, then you may go, or when the homework is done, then you may go do in your desired activity. So he either finishes his homework and has the desired activity, or he doesn't finish his homework and he's wasted his time. He chooses to do something else. So maybe not the screen time, maybe not the thing that he's most motivated by. But if we don't set this up in advance, he doesn't know what to expect. You don't know what to follow through on. And you guys are both scrambling, which creates a lot of tension and stress.
Oh, that is so helpful. I'm going to have to try that ASAP. Thank you
and
so much.
If you don't have this timer, it's called the Time Tracker Mini. It is the most phenomenal timer in the world because it has a 5-minute warning time. I will tell you, kids will fool around And then when it beeps and goes yellow and there's 5 minutes left, it's amazing how much they can get done before the timer goes off.
Oh my.
So I would suggest for parents who are reminding a lot, using a timer and teaching your child how to follow that timer is going to be a huge success.
That is so helpful. Can you tell us again, what is the resource that you have and how people can access that?
Yeah, so I'm going to put together for you guys, and it's all organized and ready. So if everybody wants to go over to my Instagram at Tia Parenting Coach, I'm going to give you a parenting bundle. So this is a free bundle, all free stuff. Download it, take advantage. If you are struggling with, teenagers, school age kids, toddlers, it doesn't matter. But if your kids aren't listening, you're stuck in the cycles of using the punishments of reminders and timeouts and empty threats. It won't get better until you make changes. And so it's up to you, not your child, to make the changes. So I'm going to gift you guys that free golden time guide, which is how to connect with your kids in 10 minutes, 5 simple ingredients. Your kids are going to eat it up. They are going to love it. You are going to be shocked at the look on their face when you come to them and say that you want to spend this time with them. It is priceless and it is necessary. And the second thing I'm going to gift is a free parenting breakthrough call. So you can connect with our team for 50 full minutes to talk about your challenges, the struggles you're in, your goals, what you want to achieve, and we can work out a roadmap on how to get you there. So head over to my Instagram at Tia, Tia Parenting Coach, and DM us the word empowered, and we're going to get that right over to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'll make sure and put that in the show notes. Tell us more about the actual program that you have and how can people find out more information? How does it work? You said it's a group program and you can learn from the other parents as well.
Yeah, so we've put together a program that amazingly enough has a 100% success rate. So anybody who's gone through our program and done the work, that's the key, done the work, has had success. So when you stop doing the things that don't work and you start doing the things that have been proven to work thousands of times over, you're in a whole different ballpark. So our program is typically a 12-week program. It's going to be a simple hybrid model where you can do it with flexibility on your own time, 12 modules, 1 module per week. And with that, you're going to have direct access to community, daily questions from myself and our head coaches, weekly live Zoom clinics to discuss challenges, just like we did with homework, so we can go over what you need to implement, how you need to implement it in detail, and make sure that you're never stuck. We also offer intensive workshops on anxiety and meal times and yelling and all the things that parents struggle with. So if a parent is really struggling, I encourage you to ask yourself, am I investing in my child's relationship? Am I investing in my child's future? Am I investing in how to show them through my parenting how they need to one day parent? Because if we don't change as parents, we're repeating the same cycles from our parents, and all our kids know is all they know. And it's up to us as parents to really decide what we want them to know and what we want them to experience in their childhood to avoid generational trauma and anxiety and stress from the way that they were raised.
Awesome. I love that. Now I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the business side of things and growing this as you're a mom yourself. How has that been balancing? What were some of the challenges? Because I'm assuming the biggest rewards is seeing how you are helping these families, right?
It's the biggest reward. So this is a real passion project for me. I never believed it would grow into a 7-figure business. Like, it was a hobby, and all before I knew, and I work really hard at it. I do, because I love it so much, but it just started to grow and grow and grow. And I just see the need more and more and more. And so when I think about balancing my life, I guess balance is such a abstract word. What is balance? But what I've really learned over the course of being a mom and running my business from the time my kids were born and little, is that it's not about quality. It's about quantity, it's about quality. And it's the quality of time I put into my business. It's the quality of time I spend with my family and my kids, and making time for myself. And so I'm a very routine oriented person. I've always woken up at 5:45 to take care of my health and exercise. I do that before everybody else gets up. And I've realized over the time, I don't have mom guilt. And I always wondered, and I talk about this a lot with my clients, that mom guilt is created. It's not something that has to happen. And we often create it because we have limited time as working parents with our kids and family. And that limited time we have is spent in a way that just feels icky. We're mad, we're frustrated, we're yelling, our kids are slamming the door. We close their door at night and we're like, thank God they're in bed. And then we're like, I feel so bad that I'm saying, thank God they're in bed. And I got to change this. And then we feel awful about it. And so because I've always done this, I have parented in a way where my kids they're great. Like, I'm not having nights where I close the door and I'm upset. I'm not having times where they're screaming at me and I'm screaming at them. Doesn't mean they're perfect or I'm perfect.
Right.
But when you have the tools and the understanding, you can really create the quality that you want between your business and your family.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. Well, I'm so happy to hear that something that you love so much has grown, and congratulations on your success and all the families you've been able to help. Now, before we already
I love, Martha, that you help some entrepreneurs, and I think that's just such a gift. Being an entrepreneur myself, so anybody who's listening, go and leave a 5-star review as well. I've done it myself, because whether you're a mom or you're not, and you're just an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. We all need help in different areas. And I believe in coaching so much, not just because I am a coach, but I always have a coach. I have worked with so many people. So it's such a blessing that you're helping people along their journey.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, you shared that you hang out on Instagram. I'll have you share with us again how people can connect with you. But before we wrap up, I would love to ask you my $1 million question. Are you ready?
Okay.
Tia, what is an empowered woman to you?
An empowered woman to me is somebody who just feels really good in their own skin. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It doesn't matter what anybody else is achieving. It doesn't matter if they fail. It matters that you get up, you try again and again, you have perseverance, you're dedicated, and you just give your best to everything that you give, because it feels really good to you, not because you care what somebody else thinks about what you're achieving or not achieving.
Yeah, that is so important. I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today. How can people connect with you?
Yeah, hop on over to Instagram. It's just the easiest there, at Tia Parenting Coach. DM me the word empowered. Let's start a conversation. I'd love to hear about your challenges and where you're struggling, and just start helping you out right away.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you. This was great.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope this episode empowered you. And if you enjoyed the show, please join the Empowered Woman community on Facebook and share with friends, or leave a review on iTunes so more people can discover this empowering message. Until next time, bye.